Alright, testing. Alright, Section 4, Resistant Welding Equipment, Chapter 5. 526, Resistant Welding. General, resistant welding is a group of the welding processes in which the joint of the metal is reduced with the heat obtained by the resistance of the work to electric current in a circuit of which the work is part and by application of pressure. Three factors involved in making the resistant are the amount of the current passes through the work and the pressure tip that electrodes transfer to the work and time of the current flows through the work. Heat is generated with the passage of electrical current through the resistant current, which is the maximum heat being generated at the surface being joined. Pressure is required throughout the welding cycle to ensure the continuous electrical circuit through cycle of the work. The amount of the current employed with the time period related with the heat input with overcome the heat loss with the raise of the temperature of the metal with the welding temperature. Selection of resistant welding equipment is usually determined with the joint design, construction material, quality requirements of production schedule, economic consideration. Standard resistant welding machines are capable of a wide variety of alloys and component sizes. Several major resistant welding processes: the resistant projection welding, resistant spot welding, resistant flash welding, resistant upset welding, resistant seam welding, resistant precision welding, and resistant high frequency welding. Principal elements of resistant welding machines. A resistant welding machine have the three principal elements: with electrical circuit with a welded transformer current regulator, secondary circuit include with electrodes conduct with a welded current in the work, mechanical system continue with the machine frame, the associated mechanics mechanisms to hold the work and apply with the welded force, the control over the timing device in the initial time of the duration of the current flow. The equipment also current of the current magnitude as those sequence time of the other parts of the welding cycle. Electrical equipment. The electrical operation resistance welds are made with the semi-automatic mechanized machines. Semi-automatic machines weld are operator position of the work between the electrode pushes the switch to initiate the weld. The weld program completes the sequence. The mechanized setup becomes the automatically fed with the machine. The weld is ejected without the operator's assistance. Resistant welding machines are classified in accordance with their electrical operation in two basic groups: direct energy and stored energy. Machines, both groups are made designed to operate with a single phase or three-phase power. Or spot welding. There are several types of spot welding, including the rocker arm press with the portable and multiple type. The typical spot welding machine is essential for the operating elements of the manual operation, shown in Figure 539. These machines' electrode jaws are extended in such a manner to permit the weld to be made with a considerable distance. Form the edge of the base metal sheet. The electrode is composed of the copper alloy assembled with a manner in which considerable the force of squeeze may be applied with the metal during the welding process. So 539 shows you the resistant spot welding machines, golden welding, electric arm, vertical arm spacing, throat design, depth passage through the switch, spring, welding pressure adjustment, brayer rod, power lines, welding transformer in machine base, foot pedal, foot treadle, heat regulator, water cooling hose, column type of the lower arm, support, wire electrode lower arm. All right. Rocker arm type. The machine consists essentially of a cylinder or extension of the arm that transmits the electrode force. In most cases, the welding current readily adaptable to spot welding. Most weldable metal with the travel the path of the upper electrode is in an arc in the fulcrum of the upper arm. The electrode must be positioned both within our plane of the Hornet's axis. Because of the radial motion of the upper electrode, these machines are not recommended projection for projection welding. Pressure type. The type of the machine weldable head travel the straight line with a guide of the bearing of the ways by type of the machine is classified according to the use of the method of the force per application. The main design for spot welding, projection welding, are both formed but may be applied with a hydraulic cylinder manually with the small bench units. Portable unit. A portable spot welding machine consists of four basic units: a portable welding gunner, the welding transformer, in some cases a rectifier, electrical contactor, sequence timer, a cable, a hose into the unit to compare the power, cooling, water between the transformer and the welding gun. A typical portable welding gun consists of the frame and the air hydraulic actuating cylinder, hand grips, and initiating switch. The design of the gun is tailored to the need of the assembly of the weld. Multiple spot welding type of the special purpose of the machine designed to weld the specific assembly, utilize the number of the transformers, force that is applied directly with electrode through a holder by air or hydraulic cylinder. The most application low electrode is made with a place of solid copper alloy with one or more electrode alloy insert for the contact part of the 2B electrode. Equalizing guns are often used with the standard electrodes and either both sides of the weld. The good heat balance with variation in parts what permit the constant contact of large solid lower electrodes. The main basic welding gun used for the design is mounted on the Z-frame, similar to that of the portable spot welding. The entire assembly can be moved as the electrode force is applied to the welding location. Welding spot aluminum conventional spot welding machines use to weld the sheet of the maybe use however the best result is obtained of the certain requirements incorporated within the machines. These features include the following: ability to handle high current with short welding times, precise electronic control of the current length of time is applied, rapid flow follow-up of the electrode force, employing anti-friction bearing and lightweight, low in-air heads, high structural rigidity of the welding machine arms and holders, platens in order to minimize deflection under the high electrode forces, using aluminum reduced metal, magnetic deflection, variable and dual force cycle for the permit forging and welding nugget. Slow current to permit the general buildup of the tampering off of the welding current. Post-heat current is also slower cooling welding. Good cooling of the class 1 electrodes prevent the tip of the pickup of the sticking of the refrigerated cooling is often helpful. Projection welding. Projection welding dies electrodes have flat surfaces, a large containing area of the spot welding electrodes. Effectiveness of the type of the welding depends on the uniformity of the projections and embossments of the base metal with the electrodes in contact. The present type of the resistant welding normally used with the projection welding flat nose special electrodes are used. 540 shows projection welding welds to be finished with projections. Electrode projections set up with the projection welds. Alright, seam welding. Seam welding machine is similar with the principle of spot welding. See the wheel shaped electrodes used with the rather electrode tip of the spot welding. Several type of the machines use the seam welding type of the depending on the service requirements. And some machines work itself with a fixed position wheel type of the electrodes pass over the portable seam welding machine using the principle of the traveling fixture type seam welding machine electrode stationary. The work is moved, but the seam of the welding machine controls must be provide on and off sequences with the welding current control wheel rotation components of the standard seam welding machine is included a main frame and the hose of the welding transformer, tap switch, a welding head consistent with the air cylinder, ram, upper electrode mounting, drive mechanism, lower electrode mounting, driver to the mechanism. If you use secondary circuit connection, electrical control contactor wheel electrodes. Alright, upset and flash welding. Flash and upset weldings are similar with the construction ion. The main difference over this point over the removal of the flat and plate during the welding mechanism in part motion. Flash weld figures generally preferably the joint components of the equal cross section end to end. Offset welding normally use the weld wire and bare small cross sections to join seamless continuity of pipe and tubing. Flash welding machines are generally much of the large capacity. Upset welding machines, however, both are processed can be performed on the same type of the machine. The metals are joined serve as electrodes. Alright, standard flash welding machine consists of the mainframe, stationary plate, and moving plate, and clamp mechanism, fixture, transformer, tap switch, electrical control, flashing, upsetting mechanism, electrodes to hold the parts and conduct the welding current that are mounted on the platens. Upset welding machines consist of mainframe, housing, transformer, tap switch, electrodes to hold parts conducting welding current. It means that the upset joint primary contractor is used to control the welding current. Percussion welding process uses the heat of the reduced rapid discharge of electrical energy to join metals. Pressure for the supply with progressively during the immediately following the electrical discharge. The process is similar to flash and upset welding. Two types of the welding machines use the precision welding or magnet capacitor discharge. Units generally consist of modified pressure type resistant welding, which is specifically designed to transform and control tooling. High frequency welding process joins metals with a heat generated with the resistance of the workpiece with a high frequency alternating current and 10,000, 500,000 hertz range. Rapid application upset force and after heating is completed. This process is entirely automatic. Utilizes equipment designed specifically for the process. Alright, Section 5, Thermite Welding Equipment, Thermite Welding, TW, GG, General Thermite Welding is a mechanical mixture of metallic aluminum process, iron oxide, molten steel is produced with a thermite reaction with magnesite-lined crucible. The bottom of the crucible, magnetite stone is burned with a magnetite stone thimble is fitted. The thimble provides a passage through the molten steel discharge into the mold. The hole through the thimble is plugged by a taping pen, which is covered with a fire-resistant washer refractory sand. Crucibles are charged placing the correct quantity of thoroughly mixed thermite material in it. Preparing a joint with thermite welding, the parts to be welded must be cleaned and lined and held firmly in place. It is necessary that metal from the joint permit the free flowing of the thermite metal into the joint. Wax patterns is made around the joint size of the shape of the intended weld. A molten made refractory sand is built around the wax pattern jointly hold the molten metal after it has been poured. Sand mold is heated and melted out of the wax and dried to the mold. The mold should then properly be vented to permit the escape of the gases to allow the proper distribution of the thermite metal at the joint. Thermite welding crucible and mold is shown in figure 541. All right, 541 shows your change of magnetic iron oxide and aluminum power, magnesite stone taping pen, magnesium thimble line crucible. The thermite welding crucible and mold shows the basin for slag and path for thermite metal. Pouring gate mold of the thermite metal plug on the iron sand or core, heating core, space for thermite welding, section to be welding and riser. Alright, forges. Forge welding is a form of hot pressure welding which joins metals and by heating them in an air forge or other furnace, then applying pressure for the forging, which may be either portable or stationary, is the most important component of the forging welding equipment. Two types is used: the hand forge weld as described below. A portable forge, essentially the forge is earth, tire, water tank, and a blower. One type of the portable forge is shown in figure 542. With the turret is a valve machine designed to direct the air blast into the fire. It is made of cast iron, consists of fire pot base over the air inlet blast valve, the ash gate. The air blast goes passes the base, admitted with the fire through the valve. The valve can be set with 3 different positions to regulate the side, the direction of blast according to the fire required. The valve handle is used to free the valve from ashes. Portable forge may have a hand crank blower, as shown in figure 542, and may be equipped with electrical blower. Blower produces air blasts of up to 2 ounces per square inch. The hood is provided with a forge carrying away the smoke of the fumes. Our 542 shows your portable forge, a blower, a thermite valve handle, ash gate, torii, hearth, and water tank. Our stationary forge is similar to the portable forge, except for the usually larger area with the exhaust connection. For the forge may be the individual blower, there may be a large capacity blower of a group of forges. The air blast valve, usually 3 slots at the top position, which control the turning valve, the opening of the 3 slots. Be fair with regulate the volume of the blast inside of the fire of the station. The station forge, like portable forges, available for the both updraft and downdraft type. Updraft type of the smoke gases pass through the hood of the chimney of the natural draft and are drawn off the exhaust fan. In a downdraft, the typical smoke fumes are drawn down under the adjustable hood and carried through the duct and exhaust for that entirely separate from the blower. The downdraft forge permits better air circulation, shop ventilation because of the removable fumes and smoke is positive. Alright, an anvil. An anvil is usually made with 2 forging steel casting welded together at the waist. The table of the cutting block is soft with the cutters and chisels. Canning contact will not be dulled. The face is made of the hardened tempered tool steel, which is held at the top of the anvil and cannot be easily damaged by a hammer. 543 shows the blacksmith's anvil, length of the horn, table drew up, the round edge face, a hardy hole and pitch hole, heel and waist and feet. Top edges of the anvil are rounded about 4 inches back from the table to provide edges which whether they can be bent without danger of cutting them. All other edges are sharp, will cut stock when hammered against them. Thus, the hard hop hole is square and designed to hold the hardy bottoms, wedges, fallers, other special tools. Pritchett holes are round and permit small slugs of metal to pass through the holes and are punched into the stock. Anvil is usually mounted on the heavy block wood, although the steel and pestle bolsters are sometimes used. The heavy anvil would be adjusted. The operator's knuckles will be just touched and face would stand erect with the arms hanging naturally. Alright, anvils are designated weight between 150 pounds and range from the size of number 100 to 300. Other tools in addition with anvils, other tools such as hammers, sledging, tongs, fillers, flatteners, chisels, swag, blocks, punches, and vices are used in forging operations. And that was the rest of chapter 5, and chapter 6 gets into welding techniques.